Praise the Lord. Welcome to DYD. This is Lady Pamela Price, Daily Youth Devotion. Aren't you excited about the Lord? Listen, we are doing quiz 2 of the second series. Yes. Listen, we left off and we were talking about Joseph's brothers have been brought into his house. They've been brought into his house. And last time we left off, we were talking about at that moment they had just gave him their presents. And they did what? Somebody shouted, they bowed down before Joseph. He's governor. You remember that? Yes. And so we're going to pick back up. But I want to ask you something, and I don't want to forget. Tell me, how many years did it take for that prophecy to come to pass? What you got? How many years did it take for that vision, that prophecy that Joseph had? How many years did it take to come? Did it take? Did somebody shout out 22 years? Come on, somebody, you got it right. Yes, he was 17 when he first had the dream, right, of them bowing down to them. And watch this, he was in prison and he went through a lot of stuff for 13 years. And watch this, and when you take and add those up and watch this, they had already went through the good plentiful times. And now they're 2 years inside the years of famine. Yes. So they finally are bowing down to Joseph. Let's go into the story a little more. Now we're at the 40 what? Well, I'll leave off. We're at the 43rd chapter, right? 43rd chapter, I believe. If I get it wrong, 43rd. And let's go in right here. Then Joseph began to do what? Once the brothers bowed down to him, what did Joseph begin to do? Somebody shout out, Joseph began to ask questions about their father. Yes. He began to ask them questions. He didn't say, Dad, is your father good? He's asking questions about Jacob. None of this is giving a clue to them. They answered the question. Then he saw Benjamin. Then Joseph turns, and I'm sure he directly looked Benjamin in his eyes. After seeing him, he had to do what? After looking at his brother Benjamin, what did Joseph do? What y'all got? I'll let you think. Come on. It says here, now his heart yearned for his brother. So Joseph made haste and sought somewhere to weep. And he went into his chamber and wept there. This was hurtful. He wasn't able to grow up with Benjamin. And this was his little brother. When he saw him, he had to leave the room, and the Bible says he wept. Watch this. When he came back, what happened? When he came back, what happened? What you got? He sat down. He sat down to eat. When he came back, when he came back into the room, he went on and they sat down to eat. He sat to eat in what order? What order did he place them? What order did he place everyone? Do y'all remember? And they sat down before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his birthright. And the men looked in astonishment at one another. They're shocked. They're like, how does God know who was born first? Reuben, remember? How does he know the order? Put him here, put him there, put there, put. And that's exactly how they said them. And they were astonished at the order. Who got 5 times as much as the other brothers? Who got the most? Who got 5 times as much? Did I hear someone shout out Benjamin? Yes, Benjamin. Why? Because that's his whole brother. Yes, they have the same what? They have the same mother. I think you're doing good. What you think? How you doing? All right. Let's go into Genesis, the 44th chapter. And this is talking about Joseph's cup. Let's go in. Joseph commands his steward to fill each man's sack with food. What did he instruct to be put in Benjamin's sack? What you got? He says, also put the silver cup, his silver cup. Let me read it. Also put my cup, the silver cup, in the mouth of the sack of the youngest and his grain money. Ah, what does Joseph have up his sleeve? Let's see. When the brothers left out the city, so finally they had sat down to eat, and finally they got to a place, it's time to go back home. So when the brothers left the city, Joseph sent after them, his servants sent the stewards after them. And what did they do? What did they do once they arrived there and they stopped them? What did they do? They accused them of what? Stealing his cup. Yes, yes, yes. They accused someone in their camp of stealing Joseph's cup. Let's go on. Now, while they're there, they said, the brothers is like, no, we haven't done such a thing. And they began to search in the order, from the oldest all the way down to the youngest. Now watch this. Whose sack was the cup found in? Benjamin's. Yes, it was found in Benjamin's sack. So the brothers tore their clothes, if you can imagine. Oh my God. Oh, they done found this cup. They tore their clothes, because that's something that they did back then. They would rip the clothes. And it says that they were taken back to who? They were taken back to Egypt, back to who? Joseph. What did Joseph say to them? What did Joseph say to them? What you got? What you got? What did Joseph say to them? And Joseph said to them, what deed is this you have done? Did you not know that such a man as I can certainly practice divination? So he's come up with this story, but he's trying to bring them back on in. Bring them in. Watch this. Because of this, what is supposed to happen to Benjamin? Because they found the cup, and he's found to have been stealing from them. What is supposed to happen to Benjamin now? What you got? He is supposed to be taken into slavery. Yes, they are supposed to now take him and make him a slave. Let's see what happened. Who intercedes for him? Who jumps in? Who was the one that had that conversation with their dad? You all remember? Yes, Judah. That's right, Judah. Judah did. What story does he tell Joseph? What story? Because he's got to intercede for his brother now. Because watch this, at the end of the day, Judah needs to, and the rest of them brothers, even if Judah don't come home, Benjamin needs to be making his way back to that house. Y'all remember that? He needs to be on the chariot. He needs to be in the buggy. He needs to be on a horse. He needs to be some kind of way back home, going back to the house where Jacob is. Yes. So watch this. What story does Judah tell Joseph? He tells him that his father will die if he takes Benjamin. Let me read 29th verse. It says here, but if you take this one also from me, he's saying this is what Jacob said to him. He said, but if you take this one also from me, because one of his being that Joseph was gone, and you take Benjamin from me, and calamity befalls Benjamin, he says, you shall bring down my gray hair with sorrow to the ground, to the grave. Yes. If you do this thing, I'm done. Let's move back in. He says here, he tells him what his father will die. He tells him that his father would die if he takes Benjamin. What did he offer to do? What did he offer to do? Judah offers to become a slave in the place of Benjamin. Yes. 31st, the 34th verse says, "For how shall I go to my father if the lad is not with me, lest perhaps I see the evil that will come upon my father." Woo! Look at that, look at that, look at that. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Judah is fighting so that Benjamin won't be a slave. Now, watch this. You say, none of this is real. This is all set up. Yes, but in their minds, they don't know who Joseph is. This is very real to them. They are really scared. They are afraid. Let's go to Genesis, the 45th chapter. That's where we at. We're going to be tested in that. Let's go in. Then Joseph could not restrain himself any longer. He could not do it anymore. He couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't restrain anymore. What did he do? What did he do? And the Bible says that he cried out. And what did he do after that? And he cried out, and he's to, you would say, to his servants, saying what? What did he say to his servants? He says, and he wept aloud, and the Egyptians and the house of Pharaoh heard it. He put out the servants. He said, "Get out of here. Everybody go except these men. Get out of here. Got to go, got to go, got to go." Then he what? What did he do after he put the servants out? Come on, y'all, shout it. What? He revealed himself. Yes. He reveals himself. He tells them who he is. Let's go in. Let's look at the 3rd and 4th verse. It says, "Then Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Does my father still live?" But his brothers could not answer him, for they were dismayed in his presence. The men were shocked. His brothers were shocked. They were dismayed. If you can imagine, they like, Joseph. And I'm almost sure Joseph looked a little different. I don't know if he looked harder. You can imagine he was 17 years old when he left home. His brothers were older than him, so he put it together, and the Lord helped him to be able to recognize them. But I don't know why they didn't recognize Joseph. I'm sure. Well, he's a man. He was 17 when the last time they saw him, and this is like 13 years. No, 13 plus the 7. Because we got to add all that in. 37, about 37, 30, 39 years old. 39 years old when they actually see Joseph. He was what? 39 years old. And finally he tells them, "I am Joseph." Let's get back in it. It says that, "I am Joseph. Does not my father still live?" But his brothers could not answer him, for they were dismayed in his presence. And Joseph said to his brothers, "Please come near to me." So they came near. Then he said, "I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt." I know they shocked, like, how in the world did you get to this place? We sold you to be a slave. How in the world did this happen? Come on, somebody. Watch this. How did Joseph feel about what happened to him? How did Joseph feel about this? We already know it was hurtful, because anytime you're going to cry, he wept. That thing had to hurt him. Some things hurt you to your heart. I know it had to be very hurtful. But one thing about Joseph, he seems to be able to rise above his hurt. Come on, somebody. To be able to do what is right above the hurt. Verse 5 says, "But now," he tells his brother, "but now do not therefore be grieved or angry with yourselves because you sold me here. For God," and then it says here, I want to make sure I'm not running into a question and give you the answer. It says here, he answers and says, "For God sent me before you to preserve life." He understood then the mission. He understood the purpose of his life. even though it was hurtful, and he cried about it, but he understood. God sent me here to preserve life. Let's move on. Joseph began to tell his brother about the famine, that there would be how many more years of famine? 5 more years, because they were now into 2 years, right? 5 more years. What did Joseph tell them about God? What did Joseph tell them about God? Because this man he's able to recognize that this was a bigger plan than him. And God sent me before you to preserve a prosperity for you in the earth and to save your lives by a great deliverance. Look at God, great deliverance. So how, it says, so now it was not you who sent me here, but God. Oh, look at that. It was not you who sent me here, but God. And he has made me a father to Pharaoh and Lord of his house, of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. He recognized his purpose. Watch this. He instructed them to do what? After he exposes who he is and he reveals who he is, what did he instruct them to do? He instructed them to pack up and move to Egypt. He tells them, listen, the famine is about to get real bad up in here. He says, hurry, 9th, 10th verse of the 45th chapter says, hurry and go up to my father and say to him, thus your son Joseph, God has made me Lord of all Egypt. Come down to me, do not tarry. You shall dwell in the land of Goshen, and you shall be near to me, you and your children, your children's children, your flock, and your herds, and all that you've had. He tells them, go get dad, bring them on. All y'all come, because the famine is about to get real rough. Let's go. How did Joseph feel? How did Pharaoh feel about this move and about his brothers? How did Pharaoh feel? He had no problem with it. Isn't that good? Pharaoh didn't have a problem with it. He was good with it. So he sent them off. Watch this. When they arrived home, they told Jacob what? When they arrived home, let's read the 26th verse. And they told him, saying, Joseph is still alive, Dad. And he is governor over all the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart, let me ask you this. Did Jacob believe them? Nope, he didn't believe that. Nope. What convinced him? What convinced them that Joseph was still alive? What convinced him? 27, 28. But when they told him all the words which Joseph had said to them, and when he saw the carts which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob, their father, revived. Then Israel, who is Jacob, said, it is enough. Joseph, my son, is still alive. I will go and see him before I die. Oh, wow. He's there now. He's convinced. Because you got to understand that Joseph had sent about 10 donkeys. He had sent some food, and they see this entourage, this large entourage of people coming. He's convinced now that Joseph is still what? Alive. Look at God. God's plan was bigger than their lives. Yes, it involved some people being hurt. It involved Joseph going through some stuff. But watch this. God trained him, and God, took care of him even in a bad situation. You got to know that God's with you. When you love on God and when you're trying to do what's right. And you say, how do we know that Joseph was trying to do what's right? We know Joseph had been in a situation, he had an opportunity to sleep with his master's wife, and he would not do it. That proves that Joseph was a man of integrity, that he was trying to live into the ordinance and the values and the laws of God. So he was trying to do what was right. Listen, I got one more quiz for you, because this is such a big story. I want you to get this. How you doing? How you doing? Listen, I'm going to see you next time, and then we're going to come back with our final quiz for this series. I'm wanting you to get this story and get it in your heart. Listen, Lady Price, love you, and I'll see you next time. To God be the what? To God be the glory, for he is what? Good. All right, I'll see you next time. God bless you. Parents, thank you so much for allowing your child to watch DYD. It is my heart's desire that every child be ministered to. Parents, I'm going to need your monthly financial support in order for this ministry to continue daily. I just believe by faith that God will lay on your heart an amount that you can consistently give into this ministry. Trust me when I say that the daily investment of the Word of God into your child's life is priceless. I've done this for 21 years and I've seen the results. Will you partner with me? Go to the donation page, and from there, you will be a blessing to this ministry. Thank you so much, and may God bless you.